What's up, everybody? Blade the Scholar of Magic. Welcome to the live broadcast, guys. It's happening. I know it is. I just have to refresh this homie here. Ta-da! The Scholar of Magic. All right, so let's get comfy today, guys. And I'm going to bring you through ZOYOWA. When we get a couple viewers, I'll kind of start the deck play up for you. And we are in Rakdos, ZOYOWA the Lava Tongue. If you're not familiar with this card, it's from the Lost Caverns of Exelon. It's a Death Toucher. And that immediately, a low-cost Death Toucher is something I love. I just love Death Touch in general. It's so hard to interact with. It just basically creates a kind of a ticking time bomb on a creature. And what Death Touch does, we can read it. Any amount of damage a source with Death Touch deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. So if the other creature doesn't have first strike, for instance, and they do not have indestructible and they simply deal damage, even if their toughness exceeds the amount of the power of the creature, that Death Touch damage will destroy that creature. So it is a very interesting circumstance overall. And very fun to play. And also a part of this is it also has a descend trigger. So meaning that each time a permanent card is put into your graveyard from anywhere. So there's lots of interesting ways to descend in this deck. For instance, you have cards like the Oliphant. And you can simply cycle this card from your hand to your graveyard, and that would meet the requisite of a permanent card going to your graveyard for the turn. So this is at the end of your end step. If you descended this turn, each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent of their choice. ZOYOWA deals 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. Is this actually kind of like a Tigrid thing too? Where it's the sacrifice? Or discard, it kind of gives them that awful choice they have to make. Otherwise, they just have to take damage. It's kind of interesting, actually. I never really thought about that. I'm pretty locked up with this pile here. I kind of like all the Death Touchers that we're working with, and I couldn't really foresee a spot for a Tigrid. But it is interesting because if they do simply sacrifice or discard, then they will give it to us, so they will have to take the 3 damage. That's kind of an ultimatum, isn't it? I like a lot of these 3 drops here, but I'm not dead set on having all of them. So I do like Izarith. Let's try a Tigrid in here as a kind of a higher value card, and it will just kind of be a backup plan overall. Welcome. What's up, everybody? So today we're with ZOYOWA. I might not even have this card. It's possible I do not. I really have no idea. Tig? Black? Oh. Huh. Turg. It's Turg. Nope, I have no idea. Surely that's how you spell it, right? Looking like a fool. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Discard sacrifice. And we'll look at the 5 manas. Ah, there it is. Turgrid with a T-E-R. Fine. Man, even Sheldred is so cool. So, back to kind of the ability here. So, it basically puts your opponents to an ultimatum. We do this all the time. Even a land will trigger this. So, for instance, you go to turn 2 and you sacrifice your land, your fetch land to find another land. That land goes to your graveyard, and that counts as a descend. That because a permanent card is a land. So that meets the requisite 2. One of the funnier ways I've been getting it lately, guys, though, is just with the Egon. Because the Throne of Death is so key, like on that backside, and you're just like milling a land or a permanent into your graveyard all the time. So it's just like an awesome like turn 1 play into a turn 2 play. As a turn 2 play, we get to play really swell stuff like Mox Amber. So that's really cool. And in addition to that, when you get to EDH, you can play like the Deadly Rollicks and Deflecting Swats because you have this like really cheap commander, and it's so awesome, right? Just to have this like 2 mana play. So in terms of what we did and like how we went about this deck is we went Death Touch. So why is Death Touch so fun for me is because I kind of came into Magic when Hooded Blightfang was a thing, and I think in the core set M20. So when that core set came out, this was really hot. Like people were spamming this, and some other Death Touchers such as your Falmer Knights was in Eldraine, and then you also had Vampire of the Dire Moon, which I believe was in the core set. So basically you had this like really perfect storm where you had like these Hooded Blightfang decks. And if you haven't seen this card in action, it's really cool. Like basically each time a Death Toucher attacks, each of your opponents will take a ping damage. They'll lose 1 life and you gain 1 life for each instance of a Death Toucher attacking. And so if you have 3 Death Touchers attacking, that's 3 life drain from them and 3 life to you. And also, whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. So you can see how in ADH you get a lot of value from that, right? So that's very cool. That was kind of the inspiration of the deck. And so basically what I did is I just built into a bunch of Death Touchers here. And we kind of went to town from there. And what are some of the other kind of things that you want to highlight here? Well, you want to definitely have that kind of trigger continue, right? You want to have like ways to keep having things go into your graveyard and having benefits for that. So there are some really sweet Death Touchers that just do that. They just put permanents into your graveyard on most instances, like a Mired Triton. You'll notice we're very heavily creature centered too. So Mired Triton will put 2 cards into the graveyard, also Death Toucher. Death Cup Marionette, Death Toucher that also puts cards into your grave. And then you just have creatures that simply like die, right? You just have like an Accursed Marauder type of effect, and that's pretty fine just to kind of get a card into your graveyard and have everybody sacrifice a creature at once. So we can kind of go down the list here, and then we'll just do like a little wrap up when we get a couple more homies in the chat, and that's how we're gonna run it out. So basically, you have like a Chrome Mox here. That's just like a really crazy, acceleration. It kind of like equalizes into a Soul Ring where you shouldn't really have to pay like $100 for this card. There's like suitable replacements that are cheaper when you do move to EDH, but we can play like a really fancy dancy card like Chrome Mox too to kind of get an extra boost because everyone else is going to be playing them too in this format. So that's kind of there. And then you have your Mox Amber here. That's just a really nice little payoff for a 2 mana commander. You can't hate on that. It's just like free mana basically. So add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers control. Ashnod is that nice 1 mana legendary Death Toucher. So you can actually get off to a hotter start too with like an Ashnod Mox Amber. You can get off to even fancier starts in that manner if you have the right cards, right? So this is just another Death Toucher. Also kind of fits the role of like filling up our graveyard too because it will sacrifice stuff. It will sacrifice your creatures and put them in the graveyard in a pinch to create some more mana that will pay for artifacts and that Power Stone. You have Dark Ritual for just some acceleration and mana. Foulmire Knight, that could be cards or 1 mana Death Toucher. You love it. Little Resurrection with Malika Rebirth, or it could be a tap land. Reanimate, just to get into our graveyard, because we will be putting stuff in there quite frequently, or from our opponent's graveyard. Sam's Desperate Rescue to get the ring temps. These are very key if you're playing 9 Nazgul. You really want to get to that level too, so you can start drawing, discarding. So that also works with ZOYOWA. It's perfect. So there's Sam's Desperate Rescue. Hey, what's up, everybody? Just going through the deck right now, and then we'll kind of just wrap it up for a YouTube video and kind of get started. So here's Tiny Bones, the Pickpocket. This is a 1 mana, 1/1 Death Toucher. And the point of this deck is a Death Touch tribal. So everything has Death Touch for the most part. I love Tiny Bones, another legendary at that one spot that you can actually start to get value from your opponent's graveyard, which is really nice too. Unearth is that really cool, like 1 mana, like, you know, resurrect a 3 mana play, and that's just perfect for our Nazgul. Just these things play like more like 4 or 5 drops when you get a couple of them on the battlefield. They're just so strong. In addition, you have Vampire of the Night Moon, just that sweet 1/1 lifelinker death touch for 1 mana. Faithless Looting, just to kind of put cards into your grave, get a couple more looks. We definitely have that synergy for ZOYOWA to descend. Great Train Heist. This is like one of the more clever cards, I thought, because if you provide first strike to your death touchers, then you're really good business, right? So that's what we really want to do. We just want to kind of, you know, have that ability to give first strike to our death touchers and really make them even that much more deadly in combat, and they will not die in that manner because they'll simply strike first with that death touch. And if the other opponent's creature doesn't have first strike or indestructibility, then they're just simply going to die before our, you know, no matter what in that instance. Also, this can open up some extra combat steps. So we love that. We love the Great Drain Heist. Strike it rich for that 1 mana, you know, acceleration that you can flash back it later. It's fine. These cards get a little bit more value when you're like definitely putting a lot of cards in your grave too. So because they're just simply going to the grave, and you might just get value out of them that way. Here's the Accursed Marauder. We kind of mentioned this one already. Just a fantastic, like, comes onto the battlefield. Each player sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. This particular card was like kind of a Nadu killer. And maybe was like under repped or under like valued in the set. I feel like black kind of like had an inch on kind of the Simic players because they had access to like an Accursed Marauder, where it didn't have to target anything. You can simply just like play this, and you know, someone would have to sacrifice something. So really strong card in that manner. So, and it will go to the graveyard and it will trigger ZOYOWA. So we love it. Bitter Triumph. This is another way to trigger ZOYOWA, get cards into our graveyard that we could resurrect in that manner, or just take some 3 life and destroy a target creature or planeswalker. The planeswalker portion is really good. Call of the Ring, fantastic. Just another, I think you really have to like this, you know, you kind of have to do this. You have to kind of go here and here and here at the minimum. If you want to kind of do the ring temp stuff, I don't think it's enough just to run the 9 Nazgul. I think you have to have some support that kind of builds upon the ring tempting. So whether it's the Call of the Ring, which will do it every time on upkeep, or it'll tempt you, or Sam's Desperate Rescue is kind of a one of, and will actually return a creature card to your hand. I think that's the way. So definitely want to be rolling those in. We have these sweet little death touchers that put cards into our graveyard. Fantastic. Persist. This could be like an Animate Dead when you're in EDH. No problems there. So that one's nice. Here's this just resurrects a non-legendary and comes on the battlefield with a -1/-1 for 2 mana. Tainted Adversary is a cool one. It can like be creating zombie tokens, which is nice. So it's a nice 2/3 death toucher, but it can also have upside. Here's Scrapwork Mutt. This will draw and discard. When this creature enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Fear of Missing Out. That's just a really awesome, like, you know, extra combat card. Get Delirium, and then we can kind of start, you know, getting the benefits of extra combats. Will trigger ZOYOWA. Most of these cards will trigger ZOYOWA in some way. Like Inti does that. Avora does this. These all put cards into the graveyard. Fantastic. Have benefits. No death touch here, but just really benefits. Molten Collapse is like a kind of an interesting removal spell. I think these kind of get subbed out for like the Deadly Rollicks. And like the, excuse me, like the Deflecting Swats. And then you have your Arcane Signet here for some rampies. This is like my favorite card here. These are like my favorite cards. Egon, God of Death. That's a really cool card. Just because you're going to be playing that front side as like a turn 1 play or the backside, and at the beginning of your upkeep you just mill a card. So you're just like always like threatening ZOYOWA with the Throne of Death. Or it could just be a 6/6 Death Toucher. You know, where you just have to, you know, remove cards from your grave, which we do because we put cards in there, so it's not a big deal. What an amazing card Egon is. Very underpriced. There's like a card that like I can't really wrap my head around, like of why it's like 60 cents. It's probably the Egon. I feel this is like at least a $3 card because you get the Throne of Death or the crazy creature. Kind of a weird one for me. Fell Stinger is just kind of like can go to the graveyard and draw some cards or just be a sweet Death Toucher. Hooded Blightfang, yeah, we just know that. It's just the best like Death Toucher we have. Preacher of the Schism is kind of a new guy on the block from Last Caverns. It will basically create a token, and then if you have the most life or you're tied for the most life, you draw a card. So it's fantastic. Just move this up. And then we have Toxic D, just to like kind of get it there and kind of just minus and just destroy everything. Yeah, that's just easy money, right? Unstoppable Slasher, just a crazy Death Toucher. This thing is probably the bane of everybody's existence. So if we get this in the opener, you're going to notice it coming down like probably sooner than later. And also like really wrecking the opponents, the Unstoppable Slasher, just because it can like take away half opponent's life total when it connects. Izareth the Awakener is a very cool jumpstart card. Whenever it attacks, it may pay X. When you do, return target creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a corpse counter on it. If that creature will leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. We love that. A little resurrection action and a Death Toucher. Nighthawk Scavenger, just a nasty thing in the air. Has like a power, it gets stronger based on the amount of card types in graveyards. Brass's Tunnel Grinder, just to, you know, siphon through our hand. Put some things in there. And, you know, start getting that Descend. Even better, you know, get benefits from Descend. ZOYOWA won't be our only benefit for descending. The, you know, flipping this into the Tuklatan and getting Discover value off of a land is good. Fable of the Mirror to keep that discard gas going, get a Shaman, get some ramp, Alesha to return creatures to the battlefield. What a great card Alesha is. Fantastic. Perforating Artist also loves us just to attack rather than just descend, just to attack. So we get that kind of redundant, you know, sacrifice this or discard this, or you take 3 damage or you lose 3 life. Here's Agadeem's Awakening for some resurrection. Grim Hireling for some excellent like rampage as we deal damage. Rev the Tithe Extractor similarly will create value by getting into cards and creating treasure when we do attacking. Fel the Profane is just an amazing land or removal spell for 4 mana. Gaunty can get into our opponent's stuff. Look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down. Put the rest on the bottom of that library in any order. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. And any type of mana can be spent to cast a spell. A little bit of card advantage. A little bit of a Death Toucher. You love to see it. Henrika Dominathi, probably our best Death Toucher. I love each player sacrifices a creature of their choice. That's just absolutely fantastic. And we're going to have creatures, I mean, so usually this is going to stick around and it's going to really wreck the opponents in certain circumstances. Lots of pressure there. It can also pump up our Death Touchers in a pinch for that flipped when you do want to transform Henrika. So that's pretty sweet too. Again, thanks for joining me today. We're just about to kind of summarize the deck and get into the game action here. Just kind of working through the cards. Sheldred is that amazing card that just gains life and, you know, basically punish the opponents for drawing cards. They lose each 2 life for each instance of drawing cards. Crazy. Violent Tumor, yeah, that's a 4 mana 2/2 Death Toucher. Whenever this creature enters, search your library for a card. Put that card in your graveyard, then shuffle. Fantastic. Prosper the Tombbound. This is an amazing 4 mana play, and essentially you're going to exile a card at the beginning of your end step. And whenever you do play a card from exile, create a treasure token. So that's going to work really well with like our inties of our world in that manner. Definitely love to play from exile in that instance. So yeah, we kind of love some of that, you know, action. Otherwise, it's just a 1/4 Death Toucher, and we love that. We just love Death Touch. Archpriest of Shadows for that backup. So you can, you know, target a creature, and if it deals combat damage, you can return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it has this ability too, so it's really fantastic. Bloodthirsty Conqueror. I think I'm ready. I think I'm charged up here. Have this thing sliding around a little bit. 1 second, guys. Beautiful. And I'm going to put my chat over here. Nice. All right. I just got this card in Foundations. It is really cool. You know, we do kind of gain a lot of life in this deck, which is kind of cool. And actually, we do have some synergy. So this is just a 5/5 flyer. Whenever opponent loses life, you gain that much life. That's cool. And it kind of works with the Witch of the Moors. Like, at the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice, and you return up to one target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Fantastic. Trigger God with Fright. This works with, I think, most of our abilities here, like Perforating Artist and ZOYOWA. So if they will have to take the damage. They will not be able to. They're not going to want to discard or sacrifice, will they? So we'll just get a hold of it. Sidisi, the Undead Vizier. Death Touch Exploit. When Sidisi exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put into your hand, then shuffle. So just like a Grim Tutor on a creature. Fantastic. Or I guess Diabolical Intent, right? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Also Death Touch. All these have Death Touch. Could you believe it? And then we have Troll Khazad-dûm to get into the graveyard and triggers ZOYOWA and give us a land. Fantastic. Or just be a sweet resurrection target for Persist or Reanimate. Similarly, Oliphant does that too. Yeah. Wormcoil Engine, just for being a 6/6 Death Touch lifelinker. And Gorex the Tomb Shell. So as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile any number of creature cards from your graveyard. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. Yeah, just get some creatures and this thing becomes cheaper. Exile those creatures from your grave. It's kind of like a delve. Whenever Gorex attacks or dies, choose a card at random, exile with Gorex, and put that card in its owner's hand, so you just get it back. Sweet card. And then, just the usual amount of basics, some man lands. Arena of Glory is fantastic. You're going to love that here, guys. And then I have, quite a bit of fetch lands here to trigger ZOYOWA. We have Gemstone Caverns. In this iteration, I don't think we went with the Ancient Tomb in this one. So we were pretty happy the way that kind of just, we need the colors, and I feel like that's kind of, appropriate for what we're doing. So, this is the ZOYOWA deck, guys, and really what you're all about here is this kind of row right here, is these nice Nazguls. So these things get really large. They're able to do the ZOYOWA things. They can put cards from your hand into your graveyard, and trigger ZOYOWA, who loves to descend or put permanents to be put into the graveyard from anywhere that will meet the requisites for its triggers. And the opponent will even have to sacrifice or discard a card, or or take 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. So very good for EDH. These are EDH-minded cards, so you'll get value overall from all your opponents. What a fantastic card to take to like a casual commander night, and really have fun with like your Nazgul. Obviously, my kind of recommendation to you when you're running the 9 Nazgul is that if you're running just the 9, you might not see another one in certain instances. So it's important that you run like another kind of additional ring tempt kind of trigger to kind of let you start moving through your deck, get to that level 2 where you're drawing a card and discarding a card. That's going to be very beneficial for you. Call of the Ring can also do that, where it's just constantly ring tempting you upon your upkeep. Other than that, just some nice little 1-mana legendaries, nice acceleration here, such as Mox Amber for the ZOYOWA. And yeah, once you have a good base to start from, you can kind of move out and have some funner, more, thinking plays. And that's the deck, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed ZOYOWA. I say ZOYOWA. And, of course, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, so are you guys ready for some ZOYOWA brawl? Let's turn up the volume a little bit. Mythweaver or Pock? The Pocker. All right, we'll keep it. We have a nice little descend play. We have a little nice 1-mana play here. Just doing all the things we want to do. So move right into Zhao. Love Shelly. You know what's kind of fun is that this card can, like, in the right circumstances, can really just wreck your world. Yeah, like if they go like kind of, you know, dork into this and play like a fetch land here, they're just like really like firing, you know. So there is that, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We will descend, so they will have to decide. The slasher kind of puts them in a rough spot. Inti does like kind of get the party started too for the descend triggers. But this just looks like a Pock play, right? Setting up Pock here. I'd assume so. This does kind of give them a problem, the unstoppable slasher. Okay, they're still, so they're setting up for a bigger Pock. So I want Shelly, so we'll see what we get here. If we can curve into Shelly, it looks like we can. We won't be able to play the Fell. It looks like it's slasher time. I will not trigger this turn. That's 3 damage there. I think it's the slasher like every time, 10 out of 10. Shelly might just get the victory for us here. It's possible. Because they will have a tough time. So they get 2 River Tears outlooks here. They'll get to pop this on my next turn, and then they'll have like a, you know, what is it? The Titan on the next play. Primal Titan, prime time. All these have Dutch tests, so they're just not into this. Trust me. Yeah, I could exert this and go. I could go right into a Shelly hasted. They would have to block it. What a card. If they kill it, my ZOYOWA goes through. They want to get their land value here. They want to pop that before they die. So Mythweaver Pock will just create another land here. Another forest. Maybe they have like an indestructible? No, they just lose it. So we still get to descend. Because we did descend. It did return, but it did descend. And they folded in a Shaya. 2 damage here. It's the play opponent. Another Mythweaver Pock turn, or what? I would probably try to play Pock and try to like kill my Shelly, block my Shelly. Land would be good, because then I could kill whatever they put out there. Another fetch land opponent, another creature play. Okay, fade that, but are you playing like a Oracle Moldiah here? Chocobo, what do you got? Nothing. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I do kind of like the Nazgul because I can just like let my Shelly get through here, which is kind of fun on the first attempt. So that's pretty cool. What are you gonna do, opponent? Okay. Does that give him like 2 lands at once? That's kind of busted. Sure, I'll take him back to the command zone. Seems fine like this. Guys, this is the deck. We can take Pac out. There is like no problems here. Like, we are just the Drano, El Drano. So sick. Gaunty, Violent Tumor. Yeah, Violent Tumor I think has a good shot here. Just like putting in any card into our graveyard and being a Death Toucher seems cool. Kugla, you're gonna kill my Shelly, you little bastard. But now it's dead. So sorry. Bird. Trample is going to be hard for you to deal with here. So, there's that. How do we want to do this? To still get us into a Zhao. This one. Let's put it on this one. And that's a lethal attack right there. All right. GG's. The real Power 9. Well, we've hit many subscribers and we're so excited. We're just getting one every day. It's flowing like the salmon of Capistrano. And yeah, we're going to have probably like 10,000 one day. It's going to be awesome. 10,000 strong. This is an interesting hand. I think it's a cool one-lander, especially with the Oliphant. It's like just interesting. I like Tiny Bones. I would love to go Tiny Bones to Call of the Ring to Nazgul. I'd love to like just, yeah, I'd love to hit land just like that. That is perfect. We could always not cycle this and then hit ZOYOWA too. That was so rude, opponent. I still want to get the Call of the Ring down, but I also want to do this thing. No, this is, we need to like ensure our mana here. I think we're going to be able to function off the 4. She's annoying though. The Tessa is very annoying. Lots of Nazgul have no way of like resurrecting them. So I think we just spam the Nazguls and just pray. But I am so excited actually that our ZOYOWA deck is going against Mythweaver and now Tessa of the Ghost Council. It's like shows that our deck is like kind of really doing the thing. So we're definitely going to be dark ritualizing this hand. There's no doubt about it. It will like open up our gameplay here quite a bit. So when in terms of ordering this, that's the beginning of the upkeep. The ring will tempt you. I feel like it's just kind of like Dark Ritual, ZOYOWA, Nazgul though. I feel like that's kind of like our best play here. Preacher has to attack, right? Let's say goodbye to that one. Swing in. Can say goodbye to the land. We have these map tokens here. Usually she's able to swing in, but she's having a hard time now. I wonder if that takes the call, but this is at the beginning of our upkeep, so maybe they take the Gaunty. Izareth is probably a good option too. Huh, worm coil engine, huh? Well, I definitely want to get my upkeep Nazgul going. So let's go ahead and get ZOYOWA a little bit stronger. Please hit a land. Oh yeah, we'll definitely take that. We're going to risk it for the worm coil. Alright, so barring like a really nasty board wipe, we're in pretty good shape here. That's very good. But nothing's dying from them, right? That was exile. Who do we want to be our ring bearer? Probably Zhao. Oh yeah. Oh, that's another one, guys. Oh yeah. Have you guys seen this before? Have you seen it? I'm good. Oh man. Yo, ZOYOWA. And Kuto. We got the FOMO. We got a little bit of everything here. Versioning, how fun is that? That like really punishes me. So let's go real slow here. Nice. Strip mine. Oh shit. That's bad. That is definitely one of the nastier presentations of this. When they're ramping and they're strip mining you. They are so far ahead now. But do they have like... Can they just spam out lands? How many lands are we talking about here? I guess they can. They can just spam them. It'd be really bad if they... Oh my god, this is awful. Can a ZOYOWA compete with all this power though that I'm going to drop on them? They're going to have some turns. I mean, I'd rather them play out these lands now. I know that sounds crazy. We're going to go Nazgul next turn. Try to mutt another Nazgul in there. Go FOMO. Oh, that is so cheating. Heavily alchemized session we're getting today, guys. Guess we kind of cracked the code. Our power level is very high. That would be a very good target too. I should just wait, huh? How do I gain life though? I don't know. Alright, we're just gonna go Naz. They just take the damage. Alright, so it looks like ZOYOWA's got to come down. They need to start using the engine. Or just play an expropriate. Isn't it just money for them? I don't know, I'm just using my instincts here. We are just coming into this match. We did get strip mined, and they continued, burgeoned and strip mined, and that's what happened. So they took my Nazgul. They have lots of lands. How do we want to do this? Nothing looks good. I kind of want to use this, don't I? Okay, that's artifact creature, so our FOMO gets turned on now. Sure thing. Is that a land opponent? It is. No, we don't need any more of these. Okay, that's a card. That's a land. It's probably another land, right? No ring temps. I do like the idea of getting extra combats, though. Let's just try that first. Give them a card. See if they want to drop it. Drop another scoot. Great. They're just going to let this through. Okay, I like that. Well, land is just Scootville. Oh, Lumra. This is obnoxious play. I never would like to experience that again. That is extremely powerful. For a 1v1, burgeoning strip mine stuff, oof. Brutal. Maybe that's what you have to kind of do, though. The expropriate was kind of brutal, I have to say. I think we were pretty cool without that happening. Yeah, we're just kind of 1-2ing here. Very welcome to get our little descend action here. Good ramping opponent. descending because the land went to our grave. It's pretty good.
I'll make use of that later.
Yeah, you can have that. I hate this.
Only hurting yourself. Are you certain?
Still did not want to make a token. Gross. Maybe I should have put that on more of a hardy creature. I don't know if they'll let that go through. Try to kill this thing. Do I want the Power Stone? No. Okay, opponent's at 9 now. Have that. And this thing is just so annoying. Wow, they had Ugano.
Preparation. Success. I see no threat. I will the essence of this world.
Okay.
Power belongs to the patient.
I'm going like right for the face. There's no reason to like try to interact with Ugin. I probably should have been saying this all along, but I thought they would make the tokens, but I guess I was wrong. Probably should have swamp cycled this first, then I'd have another mana. Looks like we're kind of dead, huh?
Spend this mana wisely.
Portal. Kind of close there. Kind of got him close. I think like a meat hook would probably be very good in this deck. It's probably like just to kind of give us a little bit more edge against like those Scoot Swarm decks. I don't know what to do about the Ugin deck. Probably just, you know, go face. But I'm not sure the Turgid is going to work out for this deck. Yeah, it's just kind of very niche. These are so hard to get to, these Witch of the Moors and such. We do have Ragavan? Oh no, we don't. was like, what about our treasures? Well, that's much better. Ragavan is definitely welcome here. These ones too, like, gain life this turn. I just didn't see that very much. The Bloodcustody Conqueror is like kind of just a tank too. Definitely more of a combo piece. I still like the idea of Sidician Archpriest though. Maybe just some way to like kind of ramp a little bit more. Who's our treasure makers? Ghast. Black Market, I love that. Yeah, so this is the deck, guys. This is the deck. Definitely be presenting this one soon. As is. It's ready. Pock again. So we'll do 2 more games. Let's see how it goes. Oppo goes first with a Shelly. Never hated that. They're very hard to deal with. We're not triggering ZOYOWA here, so probably our best interest just to get kind of FOMO down or Inti. Really go to town with the Nazgul. Creature, land. Don't see FOMO kind of doing its thing yet. Go ZOYOWA next turn. Tarn, Sculling Tarn. Got that card engine going. Let's start putting creatures in the yard for Gorex. Just value here. Get the Shelly down next turn. Try to do the thing. Vivian. Interesting. It's a good card. That's such a good draw for us. So good for Inti too. And ZOYOWA. I feel like we could do a lot right now. Could even get like a Aegon down. Tough one. I think maybe it's still Shelly this turn. I'm going to face. I think it's the FOMO. Or land this time. Probably land. think I'm going to unearth that in a second. So what I want to do is I want to get black. Borax. That's double black. That's fine. Should I? I don't think so. I go here. Discard that. I like Henrika. She's really good. They still don't go with Pock, which is so strange.
We will adapt to any threat. The Gorax is really cool. I think we're just gonna get the Econ right. There's lots of pressure. Sorcery land. Very close for our FOMO. The more the harrier.
Okay, so a 3-mana play. Oh, that's so lucky. Actually, it does prolong the game, doesn't it? They're still dead to the Shelly, though, most circumstances. That's perfect. Perfect card to get our FOMO going. How do I get it in there, though? Because this is whenever you attack. I wonder if the trigger auto the triggers correctly. I wonder if I can do that in combat. Oh, this has to attack too? Damn. Well, that wouldn't be a good attack for the FOMO to just send into the void. Death touch, homie. And Sheldra just once again just absolutely dunks on everything. That's kind of what we learned here. It's pretty good.
I call, and Ikoria answers.
That's perfect. Little hasty flyer. The value? I think we're good. Nice. Fancy blocks, opponent, I have to say. Very elaborate. Draw? Draw a card? Boom. They never believe it. They never believe it, guys. We'll do one more for the road. We got a viewer in the stream, so thanks for joining me today. For ZOYOWA. ZOYOWA. Probably maybe like the most alchemy streamlined commander I've played in a while. Just like demands alchemy attention, which is really interesting. Is it the Sheldrids? Perhaps. I mean, we're having very good starts though, you know. Very good ramp here. Very interesting starts. Probably just go into ZOYOWA. This will not count as a descend, but we do get a ZOYOWA down. To ferry. These planeswalkers have been really annoying.
I could explain what I'm about to do, but I'd rather show than tell.
Some spooky foretell action. I'm surprised I did not have like a way to like really put stuff into my graveyard. This looks like Azorius control, and I think we're kind of dead. Doomscar could be here. It is Doomscar. Yeah, Planeswalkers are super good. Gorex is super good though too. Jace. Ooh, Packed Stifle. Nasty little mage over there. That's not something I'm kind of evolved into yet. Okay. Sure thing. I still get the trigger here, right? That will not do anything. But do we have any creatures in the grave? No. Well, what I've noticed is if we do the Nazgul thing, we're definitely doing well. If we don't, then we're not doing as well. Okay. Very cool. Doomscar. That's castable, huh? Dark Ritualize. Behold the blue-white mage. The Teferi has been just rocking and rolling, huh? They snapcastered that last board wipe. And then Toon Ugin. Well, that really opens up their play too. Oof. That was brutal. CDC was like kind of better when I had like more fodder. Has definitely looked worse. I'm not so sure about Isrith too. It seems like a really slow burn. Yeah, I don't know about this card. I like the Archpriest because it looks like it kind of just gets in. But so far Nazgul have been the real bangers, as you could say. If I could get more like inty kind of Avora creatures, that would be awesome too. Things that kind of like make my deck go, you know, draw, discard type of effects. Wrangle's pretty cool. Well, we're just wrapping up, guys. Thanks for joining me today. As always, it's been a fun ride. Let's see, maybe if I missed any like really nice Death Touchers at the 2 spot. Kind of curious. If it wasn't block, draw a card. Oh, if it dies. I kind of did like the Osteomancer. It was actually really cool. And if we can get like another way to kind of meet this function, drawing and discarding, or another effect such as this, I like that too, like a Playcrafter. Sure. That would be good against Planeswalkers too. There we go. Alright, one more, guys, for the road. Kelula. Seems good. Seems super fast. Turn 1 Gaunty. No, you have to eat it. It's like turn 1 ZOYOWA, I think. The blood token would be kind of good there too. Avora Inti. We could just play them both next turn. Cool. What you gonna do, opponent? Black market, huh? Just makes sense just to spew our hand out. Strike it rich. We just do everything. Just everything. Now, if they don't have the Toxic Deluge or Meat Hook, we're good. Don't know exactly what they do in this deck, but they made the token, so that's a good sign. Ooh, that's so good. Hooded Blightfang. Well, that was rude. Yeah, sure. And my Aurora? Dang, homie. Surely I'm gonna make the Aurora stronger, right? Worm coil. It's funny. Psycho Rift. It's a good card. Can they make another changeling here? Yes. That's pretty psychotic, but hey. At the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 more life this turn, you draw. Okay. They need to play their commander here. They do gain some life here, right? No. They're dead here. They just die. Lots of pressure, huh? Well, well, well. Thanks for joining me, everybody, today. Fantastic. Tell your friends. We're almost there, guys. Going to be like at 750 soon for our next deck giveaway. So this would be fantastic, too, just to kind of showcase. I'm very excited to show off this deck. It looks really sweet and fun. Basically, like kind of the swaps, for instance, to get into like Commander is, I mean, we have these pretty cool cards like Molten Collapse, but with our low mana Commander, we can play like Deflecting Swat, and also we can play the other freebie, Rollick, Deadly Rollick. So we can definitely get into some of that. In terms of cuts, you know, this would be probably a cut for that. You can get Animate Dead here for the Persist to get it like more flexible. Love the Scrapware Mud to turn on Delirium. It did it multiple times with FOMO today, so that was cool. Kind of like all the ramp overall. How we feel about like these like 1 mana kind of Death Touchers? They're pretty cool. You know, they're pretty cool in their own right, but I prefer the one that I guess that draws more than anything. But you also want to make the Hooded Blight thing decent enough. So there's that. But it's kind of invaluable to have these like Oliphants and Trolls just like making Delirium. So that's just kind of something that you need to consider to always keep ZOYOWA triggering, because a ZOYOWA that doesn't trigger is not very fun, is it? You know, so you really want to kind of maximize all the fetch lands that you're rolling. We even run a Maestro's Theater, and I think we run another. I would probably consider like another one that kind of gets you into that red. Search Swamp Mountain. There is one more. We should probably run both of them. Yeah, the Riveteur's Outlook also finds Swamp Mountain, so you definitely want those too, along with your other fetch lands. Yeah, but I kind of want to figure this out so that I can just have a really seamless like exchange to the next format. This would be a Soul Ring here. It's no problem. Molten Collapse is cool, but yeah, you can just get some other stuff, right? Some other goodies. These 6 mana plays are this Wormcoil engine is kind of like on my mind too. Seems like we were just so far away from it, like on each instance. It's probably similar like to a Harvester of Souls, where it's just like you need to reanimate it or else it's just not as good. And I'm considering just like doing like an Entomb type of effect for this. I don't have this card anyway, so I might just swap this for an Entomb, and then that will make our animate dead and reanimate better with a Wormcoil at least. Bitter Triumph is pretty cool. Yeah, we need that for Planeswalkers for sure. Yeah, it's probably one of these Vampires of the Dire Moon or the Falmor Knight. I think I'll probably edge out. This one gets a card for 3 mana. That's not bad. Might actually be all right. Well, I think that's what we'll do. We'll probably say goodbye to one of these, keep the other legends in, and be pretty happy. All right, everybody. Have a swell day. I'll see you all soon.